This week on The Real Housewives of Miami.
It's like a cult. I said cult. I find that offensive, and we have to be careful the things that we call each other and the things you say because they stay there. And I don't like it because, first of all, we're not a cult.
Okay.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be recapping the new episode of The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode 9. Let's get right into it. Alright, so this was a pretty good episode, I will say. The episode begins with Adriana and Lisa. Adriana's taking her dog to be... At first I thought she was taking it to, for them to breed the dog, but she's talking about this is a dog brothel and the dog needs to enjoy itself before she clips him. And then they show us footage of the dog doing things with another dog. I have no idea what any of it means, nor do I want to know. So let's just move on from that. So Adriana does reflect on her time on the boat the other day. She says she was wrong for going off on Marysol. I thought it was kind of funny and she should just kind of own it, but she says that it was out of character and she's apologetic for that. Lisa says that what she doesn't like is that she doesn't like seeing Julia, Marysol, and Alexia have become so, this little bit of a clique. And she can kind of tell that Julia is purposely excluding Adriana, making her feel like an outsider. So at the same time, we see Marysol and Julia. Marysol says that Adriana kept body shaming her and calling her old. She says, she's older than me. Adriana's actually older than me. And I was like, okay, Marysol, that actually doesn't really help your case because Adriana looks like she's 10 years younger than you. So the fact that she's older than you, that's not the point that you're trying to make. Anyway, Julia says that the friendship between her and Gertie, that ship has pretty much sailed, but she can be cordial. Marysol then says that she really wants to do something nice for Alexia to distract her from all the negativity that's been going on. So why not plan a trip to Sevilla, España, Spain? The crazy part is, though, that when they call Alexia to talk to her about it, Alexia's like, okay, that's awesome, but I need to get back before Todd's birthday. And they're like, girl, that's why we're trying to take you to the trip in the first place, to distract you from all that. Alright, so moving right along, we see Gertie FaceTime Jackie Waters from Married to Medicine, the one who likes to fat shame people. But it's nice to see somebody from the Bravo universe. And of course, Gertie and her can relate with the journey of both of them having breast cancer. Gertie asks for some advice, how can she spice things up or be a little bit more activated sexually with her husband. And Jackie's like, I'm going to send you a care package and you're going to be all good. But, as controversial as Jackie can be, she was very sweet with Gertie. She gave her some great words of encouragement. Gertie was even moved to tears because Jackie was telling her how proud people are of Gertie. And Gertie also confides in her about the fact that she really has felt, or she feels right now, like she has no support from the group of friends in this show. And Jackie tells her, how to handle that. So it was a really nice scene. Moving right along, Stephanie and her husband Masood have a date night with Julia and Martina. Masood was a bit starstruck with Martina. And I was like, okay, that makes sense because he's older and he probably watched her play tennis. Well, no, not probably. He did. Because he kept talking to her about it, about her time and, when she played and would she ever go back. And Martina was telling him how she retired in 94 and she loved playing, but she says that she was very stressed during that period of time. They also talk about the boys, how they're doing, and then they sort of just get to know each other a little bit better. Do you have siblings? Things like that. Stephanie shares that she has twin sisters who don't talk to her because it feels like they speak a different language. They just can't communicate. Stephanie says, sorry to bring up something that's kind of depressing. But then Julia says, no, it's okay. We are actually going through a bit of a hard time right now with our oldest daughters because of our new family dynamic. So that's when I was like, wait, what? What is the tea? So apparently the daughters haven't even met the boys. They haven't communicated with Julia or Martina since they found out that they were adopting the boys. Now, I want to know, what is the reason? Because Julia kind of made it sound like, it was a communication issue, whatever. No, okay. just because there was a communication issue, that's not going to make them not want to even speak to them or even see the boys. So I wonder, like, what's going on there? Julia then tells Stephanie about the trip that her and Marysol are planning for Spain. Julia asks, do you want to go? And Stephanie's like, yes, absolutely. And I'll even take my plane and you can come with me on the plane. She then asks who is invited. For some reason, Julia says, let's go talk by the bar. I was like, why can't y'all just speak here at the table? But anyway, it was funny though, because when they got up, Masood was 100% fangirling with Martina. He was like, you were so good. You were such in good shape. I mean, your arms were amazing. He was starstruck. So Stephanie tells Julia, I'm new to this group. Everyone's been welcoming to me except Alexia. I feel very unwelcome by her. And Julia, you can't keep making excuses for a bully. And Julia's like, I don't know, I'm not going to make excuses for her, but, I talk to Alexia almost every day. I know all it really will take for both of you to get along is to just have a conversation. So Stephanie's like, okay, I'll talk to her. I'll do that. All right, so moving along, Marysol is throwing a little party in her house. She did invite everyone, including Adriana, which is good. She is calling it a preppy lunch. Everyone has to dress up as preppy, like schoolgirl kind of ish. Alexia is the first one there, and so Marysol says to her, hey, so yesterday Keke came over to my house, and she said something to me that didn't really sit well with me. She told me Gertie told her that we were like a cult, and that implies that we're sinister. So then Alexia's like, I don't like that. And it was a crazy coincidence because as they are talking about that, the doorbell rings, and who is it? Gertie. But Gertie didn't come empty-handed. She came with great gifts. One for the wedding, one from her party. That's really nice. The only negative thing I will say about Gertie this season, though, is that the outfits, they're different. Like, even her confessional look this episode, I don't get it. I think she has so much potential. I'm like, what are these outfits, Gertie? Anyway, Gertie comes, and then Marysol tells her about the trip that they're planning. Gertie says she actually loves Spain. Marysol says, so the question I have for you, though, is do you want to come? Because, like, it's being said that you called us a cult. Gertie owns it, which I really like about her. She doesn't try to be like, oh, no, I didn't. She's like, yeah, I was very hurt. I tried to talk to everyone. Nobody was listening. All y'all had the same opinion. Everybody was Team Julia, and it's like a cult. I did say that. Alexia says, well, we are not a cult, and, we have to be careful with the words that we use. Like, do you even want to be a part of this group? And I just feel so bad for Gertie because she cries in that moment, and I just feel like no one is understanding her, and that's what makes me feel bad for her. So then everyone begins to arrive. Some of them understood the assignment. It was giving, like, Elite, or Elite, whatever that show is called on Netflix, kind of like that vibe. If I had to pick a winner, though, for the who dressed the best for the theme, 100% I would give it to Stephanie. So Marysol was being extra nice to Adriana, and Adriana actually thanks her for inviting her, and she also apologizes for the other day at the boat. She says, I was very drunk. Marysol says, well, liquor brings out the truth, though. And Adriana says, well, you say mean things about me all the time, and it makes me wonder, why do you hate me so much? And Marysol's like, well, you're the one that's always on me. Can you just get off of me so we can have a good time? Adriana's like, you know what? There's so much conflict in this group right now. We don't need us to be adding to it, so let's just make peace. And they agree. So everybody goes outside to the little setup that Marysol had. The reason Marysol threw this party is because while she's very proud and everybody knows about her Cuban side from her mom, her dad was like an American guy, from Connecticut. So she wanted to sort of embrace that boarding school, whatever it is. Adriana then gives us a biology lesson about when you're conceived and how the chromosomes cross and you actually end up getting your traits from your dad. Also, this was really cool to hear. Adriana's taking a course offered by Harvard. And she's graduating next spring. Larsa and some of the others try to downplay it, but they're just hating. That is kind of cool. And this was actually a great event. I gotta give it to them. It was laughter, jokes, no big drama. Then a little bit later, Gertie and Julia have another talk. And I'm like, are we doing this again? But I think Gertie just really wants to be able to be understood. So they go to the side and she says to Julia, I felt betrayed at the Greek party because you brought our issue back up. Julia says, but we had a life coach there and I wanted his advice. Girl. Anywho, Gertie is very apologetic. She says, I just felt cornered. I didn't know how to express my feelings. Nobody was listening to me. No one believed me. And everyone thinks I'm a piece of ish. And you were my friend. You know, you out of all people. Julia says, I'm sorry I hurt you. I had pain and hurt as well. And then they sort of just hug and make up. So I wonder if that'll be the last that we see of their feud, or if anything will reappear in the season. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, they're good. So they go back to the table and the group is discussing the trip to Spain. So Stephanie's going to be able to take 3 girls with her on her plane from here, Miami, to Spain. When they're all in Spain, there is going to be a trip that they're going to do from the city of Seville to Marbella. And that trip is about 3 hours driving, but Stephanie is offering to have them all in that particular trip in the plane. So Stephanie then pulls Alexia aside to talk. Stephanie says, I just want to talk to you before our trip, make sure that we're okay. So let's talk about this Chihuahua and Rottweiler stuff. So Alexia's like, yeah, I said that I barked. No, you said that I was barking. So that's what I said to you. Yeah, you're Chihuahua and I'm a Rottweiler. But that doesn't mean you need to go around calling me a Rottweiler. So Stephanie's like, I just feel like you like to belittle people. And I feel like that was your way of saying, I'm a Rottweiler and you bitch, you're a Chihuahua. So then they start to get loud. Stephanie says, it's not going to go well if you keep belittling me. By the way, the girls sneaked up to see through the window, and Stephanie got really, really mad. And when someone can kind of just snap like so aggressively, so fast, it kind of worries me a little. Not gonna lie. Anyhow, Stephanie asks Alexia if she wants to fly with her to Spain on her plane. Alexia acts confused and she says no, because she doesn't want to leave Marysol behind, which is the same thing, by the way, that Marysol said to Stephanie when Stephanie had invited Marysol. Marysol said, no, I don't want to leave Alexia behind. So who will be the person who will go with Stephanie? So they go back outside. Stephanie is going with Larsa and Julia. There's one more person they can take. Marysol turned it down. Alexia turned it down. So will it be Keke, who Stephanie's been hanging out with a lot and has had a good time with? Or should it be Adriana, who Stephanie hasn't had a lot of time to spend with, but she would like to get to know better? Keke is so sweet and so humble and has such a beautiful soul that she says, you know what? You can invite Adriana if you want to get to know her more. That's awesome. So then Adriana says, well, yeah, we can definitely get to know each other. And I mean, I'd like to go. And not to mention that my supposed best friend is going to be there too. And then Julia's like, what's that supposed to mean? What do you mean? Like, it wasn't my place to tell you I was going to go on the plane, Adriana. And Adriana's like, yeah, but look at Marysol and Alexia. They both refused to go if it meant leaving one of their best friends behind. That's true friendship. I'm really envious of that. That's beautiful when it comes to them. And then I think in that moment, Alexia just started to cry. But I think hearing Adriana say that, it just hit Alexia with like, wow, this really is a beautiful friendship that me and Marysol have. And she was crying about it. It was a really sweet moment because they are really good friends. So I get it. That makes sense. And that was the end of the episode. So it was a good episode. Nothing crazy, but just pretty good episode. What did y'all think about it? What did y'all think about Gertie calling them a cult and Stephanie trying to make things better with Alexia? Let me know in the comments, you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.